Malcolm-Jamal Warner, a well-known actor, director, musician, and cultural icon, passed suddenly on July 20, 2025, at the young age of 54. When he went away, the entertainment industry was rocked by a profound loss that left fans, friends, and family in a state of shock and sorrow. Malcolm's vivacious spirit and versatile abilities touched the hearts of people of all ages and generations. He was best known to millions of people as Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show. According to various news agencies, his terrible death occurred when he was on holiday with his family in Limon, Costa Rica. He was swimming off Cacos Beach when he became entangled in a strong ocean current, which ultimately led to his drowning tragedy. The news quickly spread, with fans flooding X with tributes, describing it as a gut punch to the soul. For example, users at First Stampen described it as a gut punch to the soul, and users at Geek Vibes Nation described it as absolutely heartbreaking. His life was a vivid fabric of creativity, perseverance, and a deep commitment to elevating Black voices. From his revolutionary role as the relatable Theo, to his Grammy-winning music, his directorial work, and his poignant podcast, Not All Hood, Malcolm's life was a rich tapestry of these qualities. In order to pay tribute to a man whose legacy continues to motivate and encourage people, we are going to go into the circumstances behind Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing today, including his age, family, net worth, lifestyle, and history. Pamela Warner, a lady of tremendous drive who functioned as both his caring parent and his manager throughout his career, gave birth to Malcolm-Jamal Warner on August 18, 1970, in Jersey City, New Jersey. Pamela Warner was a single mother at the time of her son's birth. His name, which was a tribute to the Black rights leader Malcolm X and the jazz pianist Ahmad Jamal, carried the weight of a cultural and artistic legacy from the very beginning. Pamela relocated the family to Los Angeles when Malcolm was a little child, following the divorce of his parents. Malcolm was raised in a humble environment that was brimming with love and encouragement as he was growing up. Music and theater provided him with a sense of comfort when he was a child, and he was drawn to the performing arts. He began taking acting classes at Angeles Mesa Elementary School when he was 9 years old, displaying a natural charisma that hinted at his potential for greatness in the future. According to Malcolm, who frequently discussed his thoughts in interviews, his mother, who was a paralegal by profession, noticed his potential at an early age. She encouraged him to pursue his aspirations while also teaching him to remain grounded. Even before he was a teenager, he was already playing in community theater, and his enthusiasm for telling stories shone through in each and every role that he played. At the age of 13, Malcolm was given his big break in 1984, when he was cast as Theodore Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. This came about as a result of a nationwide search that was conducted by Bill Cosby himself. The Huxtables, a Black family from the upper middle class, were portrayed in the sitcom with warmth, humor, and sincerity. The sitcom ran from 1984 until 1992 and was a cultural phenomenon. A resonant response was received from audiences all over the world by Malcolm's portrayal of Theo, the lovable but dyslexic son who was navigating puberty. A number of iconic scenes, such as Theo's lesson in financial responsibility when his parents confiscated his stuff, or his heartfelt conversations with Cliff Huxtable about his learning issues, became touchstones of television in the 1980s. Malcolm was recognized as a rising star as a result of his performance, which enabled him to get 2 Young Artist Awards and a nomination for an Emmy in the category of Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series in the year 1986. Later, in an interview in 2024, he reflected on the fact that The Cosby Show provided Black families with a mirror and white families with a window, demonstrating that we are more alike than we are different. In addition to overcoming stereotypes and legitimizing the Black middle class, The show had an impact that stretched beyond the realm of entertainment, as Malcolm Smith frequently noted. Malcolm's talents stretched much beyond acting, despite the fact that The Cosby Show was the defining moment of his early career. Even when he was still a youngster, he was already exploring other creative channels. By the late 1980s, he was directing music videos for musicians such as New Edition, Special Ed, and Heavy D. When he was only 17 years old, he made his debut as a filmmaker by directing episodes of The Cosby Show. In doing so, he demonstrated an early and profound mastery of the art of storytelling behind the camera. In 1992, when he was only 22 years old, he created Time Out, The Truth About HIV, AIDS, and You, a public health film that featured Arsenio Hall, Magic Johnson, and Paula Abdul. The video addressed the issue of HIV prevention with a clarity and compassion that impacted millions of people. His work as a filmmaker expanded, and he was credited with directing episodes of shows such as All That, Kenan and Kel, Malcolm and Eddie, and subsequently, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunions, where he brought his unique blend of humor and emotion to the show. One of the characteristics that characterized Malcolm's career was his resistance to be pigeonholed, which was demonstrated by his ability to switch between acting and directing. Malcolm was confronted with the problem of leaving Theo's shadow after the conclusion of The Cosby Show in the year 1992. Between the years 1996 and 2000, he starred as Malcolm McGee on the United States public network sitcom Malcolm and Eddie. He played the major role in the show opposite Eddie Griffin. His comedic timing and chemistry with Griffin were accentuated in the show, which was a buddy comedy about two buddies running a pub. As a result, the show garnered a dedicated following of fans. In addition to that, he provided the voice of the producer in the animated series The Magic School Bus, who also served as an executive producer for the PBS Kids series. He also appeared as a guest on shows such as Touched by an Angel and Sliders. Despite the fact that he demonstrated his dramatic abilities in the post-apocalyptic series Jeremiah from 2002 to 2004, and later in Suits as a sharp attorney, perhaps his most acclaimed role came in 2016 as Al Cowlings in the People v. O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story. In this role, his nuanced portrayal of O.J. Simpson's friend earned praise for its depth, with fans on X, such as at The Root, noting his quiet intensity. Between the years 2018 and 2023, Malcolm enthralled audiences with his portrayal of Dr. A.J. Austin in The Resident. In this role, he portrayed a bright but flawed cardiothoracic surgeon, demonstrating his ability to strike a balance between strength and vulnerability. Another essential component of Malcolm's life was his love of music. As a brilliant bass guitarist, he collaborated with jazz musicians, such as Earl Klugh, and fronted his own band, Miles Long, which blended jazz, funk, and R&B music from many genres. The time he won a Grammy in 2015 for Best Traditional R&B Performance for Jesus Children with the Robert Glasper Experiment and Layla Hathaway was a moment that he described as an affirmation of my musical spirit in an interview that took place in 2016. The Miles Long mixtape, which he released in 2007, as well as his performances at the National Black Theatre Festival, which he has been doing since 2003, brought to light his passion for spoken word and jazz. During these performances, he frequently shared poetry on identity and overcoming adversity. His podcast, Not All Hood, has been a venue for candid conversations about Black experiences, mental health, and community. It was founded in June 2024 with co-hosts Wussi Baraka and Candace Kelly, and it has garnered accolades on X from users such as A Terrible 808 for its honesty. A common thread that went across all of Malcolm's work was his dedication to conveying stories that were uplifting and empowering. This commitment was represented in both his music and his podcast. There were times of happiness, times of sadness, and times of quiet dedication in Malcolm's personal life. As a result of the passing of his longtime companion, the actress Michelle Thomas, who had performed the role of his on-screen girlfriend Justine on The Cosby Show, he was emotionally profoundly affected. Malcolm was at her side when she passed suddenly from stomach cancer in 1998 at the age of 30. This tragedy left him struggling with sadness, as he expressed in an interview in 1999. Their off-screen romance lasted for over a decade, and Malcolm was by her side when she passed away. Through the years 2000 to 2007, he dated the actress Karen Molina White, and from 2011 to 2013, he dated Regina King. Despite the public's curiosity in his romantic relationships, he chose to keep them private. During the year 2017, Malcolm and his wife Keisha, who was a lawyer from Bridgeport, Connecticut, welcomed a daughter. Malcolm chose to keep the identity of his wife hidden from the public eye. A post that he made on Instagram in 2017, showing him caressing Keisha's pregnant tummy and accompanying it with a comment about a new beginning, thrilled the hearts of his supporters. While his father, Robert Warner Jr., played a little part after the couple divorced, his mother, Pamela, continued to be his rock, directing his profession and cheering him on at his milestones. Malcolm's relationship with his daughter was the source of his greatest happiness, and he expressed his pride in being a father to an interviewer in the year 2024. The lifestyle that Malcolm led was a mirror of his personality, which was both grounded and energetic. Through his work in acting, directing, music, and producing, he amassed a net worth that was estimated to be between $6 million and $12 million. He lived a comfortable life, but he did not live an opulent one. His Studio City, California home, which he purchased in 1994 for the price of $470,000, was a warm and inviting refuge that was stuffed with music memorabilia, signed posters from The Cosby Show, his Grammy Award, and his cherished bass instruments. A fervent supporter of Black culture, he was a frequent attendee at gatherings such as the National Black Theater Festival, where he entertained audiences with his poems and made connections with aspiring young artists. Dreadlocks were a symbol of his identity, and he once said, "They were me, but I'm still me without them." He wore them for more than a decade before he cut them in 2012. His dreadlocks were a representation of his identity. During his courtside appearances, Malcolm's passion for basketball, and more specifically his support for the Los Angeles Lakers, was readily apparent. Additionally, he frequently published humorous postings on social media about his team. As a reflection of his intellectual and artistic depth, his podcast studio, which was where he recorded Not All Hood, was a haven of creativity. It was stocked with books on Black history, as well as jazz albums. The quick and tragic circumstances of Malcolm's passing were both a shock to everyone. It was on July 20, 2025, when he was swimming off of Cockles Beach in Costa Rica, that he became entangled in a powerful current, which ultimately resulted in his death by drowning. Asphyxia was determined to be the cause of death by the Costa Rican National Police, and emergency personnel were unable to bring him back to life. Followers on X, like it one jobless boy, uploaded broken heart emojis and memories of watching Theo Huxtable grow up as a result of the tragedy, which occurred only one day before his 55th birthday. The tragedy struck a deep chord with followers. On the 18th of July, his final episode of Not All Hood was broadcast, and it featured an open and honest conversation on mental health. The show concluded with Malcolm declaring, "We're here to heal, not hide," which was a heartfelt farewell. A flood of tributes came from his contemporaries, including Tracy Ellis Ross, who referred to him as a brother in spirit, and Felicia Rashad, who stated that Malcolm brought joy to each and every recording session. The latest roles that he has played in 911 and Alert were mentioned on X by at Daily Mail celeb website. His loss is made much more devastating by the fact that the Missing Persons Unit demonstrated that he was still at the pinnacle of his abilities. The life of Malcolm-Jamal Warner was a shining example of the power of adaptability and compassion. He lived his life with a sense of purpose and honesty. Whether he was performing on the sets of The Cosby Show in Brooklyn, or on the stages where he played bass or recited poems. The Grammy Award he received for his work on Jesus' Children, the Emmy Award nomination he received for his part as Theo, and the purpose of his podcast to highlight Black voices were all chapters in a journey of unrelenting innovation. The death of Michelle Thomas instilled in him the ability to persevere, and the responsibility of being a father offered him happiness, as evidenced by the warmth of his grin whenever he spoke of his daughter. Keisha's private life was his safe haven, a place where he could be, as he described it, Malcolm, rather than Theo. Keisha was his own sanctuary. His advocacy, which included mentoring young artists and raising awareness about HIV, demonstrated that he was dedicated to leaving the world in a better state than he found it in. While we are saddened by his early passing, we pause to honor a legacy that extends beyond the realm of television. An individual who, in each and every character he portrayed, demonstrated to us love, pride, and vulnerability. We would appreciate it if you would take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel if the story of Malcolm has moved you deeply and if his work has motivated you to explore the world with courage. As a way of paying tribute to the individual who made us laugh, think, and feel, let us keep his light blazing. We are grateful that you have chosen to accompany us on this excursion through the life of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Up until the next time, continue to create, continue to love, and keep his soul close at hand.